I did enjoy the fact that Charlottesville and these White Lives Matter rallies, they show an alternate image of angry protesters. Because they like to put this whole rioting narrative on the black community. Like, that's our thing. And like, rioting is not a black thing. Resilience is a black thing. Overcoming the odds is a black thing. Frying chicken, barbecuing, do-rags, that's black shit. But riots, that's not our thing, okay? That's not, and it's not like we want to do it. Because I don't like in the news when they're talking about these cases and these verdicts that are about to come out, they're always like, the verdict will be read at 4 p.m. We'd advise you to stay inside, board up your windows, evacuate the city if you can. Like, it's some kind of hurricane warning. It's like, rioting is not plan A. It's plan C. Plan A is telling America, hey, there's some messed up stuff going on, and we hope they hear it. Plan B is showing footage of the messed up stuff we have been talking about, and we hope that's digested. But if plan A don't work, and plan B don't work, we're gonna have to burn something. I'm not a rioter, or one who riots. Too much smoke, I got asthma, you know? It gets in between me and my message. I can't even get the full slogan out, you know? So what I like to do is let the rioters do their thing, and then when they go to sleep, then I hit the streets, go to racist people's cars, and take off their current registration sticker. Yeah. I'm not gonna fuck up your property, I'm gonna fuck up your day. I'm gonna send you to the DMV, because Black Lives Matter. And then I'm gonna kill your shit. Because I be mad, but I don't wanna like be a riot person, but I do wanna strike back. Like, I don't know, I just wanna be like a petty rioter. Like, next time somebody does some messed up stuff, shoot some unarmed black dude, I'm gonna be mad, but I'm not gonna burn the city down. I'm gonna just find the house of that cop and break in and take their best wine and throw it in the freezer, you know? I'm gonna just mess up their next celebration. Grab the wine, honey.
To me, the only difference between a good comedian and a good reporter is a necktie. You see an issue, you gather the facts of the issue, you deliver an opinion and perspective on the issue that you hope will educate people, in some cases, with some comedians, influence change.
I know black people are tired, though. We really fucking tired. So we just voting for black people right now. And I know white people try to make us feel guilty, like, oh, you only voted for Obama because he's black. Fuck yeah. We voting for everything. Jamal, Trey, Ray, Lil Rel, all them niggas, we vote for them, yeah. If there was a candidate named Niggy Nickerson, I would vote for him. Do you understand? Like, white people vote for white people too. That's why the fuck y'all still in power. Ain't enough niggas voting, so we gotta get out and vote. Where the camera at? You know, it's like Kevin Hart talked about it, right? He says he doesn't want to do anything too political. He experiences these things, but he wants to just, you know, have fun, and people come out to see him and have a good time, and I understand that. I just don't want to be that, because you're saying things out of your mouth that people are picking up with their ears and digesting.
I like watching Trump rallies, yeah. Because for the first time in my black life, I get to see white people be embarrassed by other white people. Now you know how we feel when we watch the news and they always pick the worst eyewitness. They're like, live from the fire, sir, with the missing teeth and the cornrows on the side with the bald spot. Would you like to tell us what happened tonight? He be like, yo, news lady, bitch, this shit was crazy, yeah. I was pushing my cart across the street, I saw a fire. They're like, do you know how the fire started? It was me.
Over the course of the past 4 years of traveling, I've definitely seen a change. Like, I knew Trump was gonna win before everybody else that I knew. Because I would be out there for the past 2 years driving cornfields, miles, hours, huge Trump signs. I'm not talking about like a little thing in the front yard. I'm talking about like 10 by 10 erected in a cornfield. It was kind of like white people just woke up and was like, oh, we don't have to hide the way we feel anymore. We have somebody that's gonna back us up.
There's a turn back the clock agenda going on in Washington, D.C. Niggas have gotten a little too far. 8 years of a black man coming out of a White House drove certain people to madness, all right? Because when you vote for an orange motherfucker, that's madness. When you vote for a motherfucker who has an IQ of plant life, that's madness.
I was working at the Tonight Show at the time, and everyone was crying and everything, and some of my friends were like, well, I'm not even going home for Thanksgiving. This is crazy. And I was like, why aren't you going home for Thanksgiving? And they're like, because Trump is a racist and they're racist and they voted for a racist. And I was like, oh, cool. Your uncle was racist last year. Like, nothing has changed. Like, I don't know why we give this dude all this credit. Maybe because he puts his name on everything. We're letting him put his name on history.
We are living in a weird political time right now. I know because I'm on Facebook. A lot of people get in political arguments on Facebook, calling Facebook drama. If Facebook is drama for people who've never been in a fist fight. I don't think Facebook is drama because I've been in a fist fight. I come from the projects. The only time I've seen words hurt someone is when I saw a girl get hit with a belt buckle that said Denise.
In the era of Trump, I kind of already act on my impulse to turn my anger and make it productive for me. So a lot of people who are like the age of Trump or talk about that in a way, I feel like just started getting angry in November, and I've been angry the whole time. Like going to 5 high schools, seeing my grandfather die when I was 10 years old, not growing up with my dad in the house, growing up in the projects, knowing friends getting killed when I was a teenager. Everything that, could have like broken me down has made me like someone who overlooks all the political stuff and is just like, you don't understand like what I escaped. I'm a lot stronger than whatever this 4 years, age of Trump, whatever bullshit. Niggas don't got time for that.
Yeah, I mentioned it. You have to because this is the world we're living in now, but I'm not spending my time talking about that, man. I'm letting you guys get used to the voice. I can see some confusion. He's looking at me like, is that Idris Elba? What's happening? You didn't know before Idris that there's black people in England. You didn't know. You didn't know. I've been living in America 10 years, and for 9.5 of those years, people thought I was an Australian Aborigine. All right? I get into a lot of Twitter fights with people going, immigrants, you guys coming to our country and taking our jobs. I'm like, the only reason I'm born in England is because you guys came to Nigeria and fucked it up. When you go to someone's house and mess it up, don't be surprised if they turn up at yours. We're family now.
People are taking obvious sides. They're either incorporating politics into their humor or they're not.
I'm not a political comic at all. I have opinions, but it's not like I consume politics on a daily basis. I wish we could have a break, just a break.
The way that cops describe black men after they shoot us is insane. He's like, he looked like a beast from hell. He charged at me like a linebacker. I feared for my life.
Let us not forget the classic, I thought he had a gun. Vintage law enforcement.
Oh, yeah. That's their catchphrase. That's their version of, did I do that? And you're like, yeah, I saw the video.
Our experiences in England as black people are very similar. You forget, the Brits were the best racists. They were the most prolific slavers. The Americans did the equivalent of like, if you rob someone's house and you steal something and you take it back to your own house. Whereas the Brits robbed someone's house and hid it somewhere else. The experiences in England as black people is the same. The only reason black people don't die at the same rates in England at the hands of police is because our police don't carry guns.
Well, one time, this actually, I was stopped by the cops in a cab. I was pulled over by the cops in a cab. On the way to another comedy show, and I was in Brooklyn, and I felt like they, working with this cab driver, I should say, to just like stop brothers who were surprised that they got a cab in the first place. I had to go to another show and still process that. Of course, I have to joke it off, but it's still like that pain. It doesn't really fully leave me, or I'm not over it till I can like, write a joke about that.
This actually happened to me recently. I was pulled over by the cops in a cab. Yeah, I didn't know they could do that either. And then put on the lights, boop, and the cab driver was like, I don't know. I think I'm good. They came to shine the lights in the back seat. They're like, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure this guy's all right. We had some robberies at gunpoint tonight. And it made me nervous, because like, as a kid, like, cops would come to my school and read books to us, but like in that moment, I felt like I was in a Dr. Seuss book that was trying to demonstrate racism to children. Just like, cop I am cop I am. I do not like black man or woman. I would not like them on a boat. I would not like them on a goat. I would not like them eating cookies. I would not like them wearing hoodies. I would not like them anywhere, to be honest, except maybe my fantasy basketball team. They came over like, where you coming from? I was like, a comedy show. They're like, where you going to? I was like, a comedy show. They're like, oh, really? You're a comedian? Tell me a joke. And I was like, you just pulled over my cab. Nigga, that's the joke. That's all you get, you goofy bitch.
So, and it gets darker than that. But yeah, I mean, it's real life too. Pretty dark, and I'm pretty black.
There's a few jokes I do about being black in America. So I do one joke where I say, my accent gets me out of a lot of trouble. I have no fear of your American police officers. In fact, I pull them over. I do a routine where I was driving down the street and I saw some police officers. I pulled them over. I was like, excuse me, officer. I can't help but notice that you've been following me for 12 miles. And the accent confused him. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought you were black. So I do a whole routine about the whole accent and being discriminated against, and then I open my mouth, and that has really happened. I do another routine where I was followed around a jewelry store. I don't know if you can see, I like jewelry. And I was in the jewelry store and I was walking around and this woman was following me around the store, assuming that I'm gonna steal something. And I stopped her and I was like, why are you following me? And then as soon as I started speaking, she was like, oh my God. Her whole attitude changed towards me. She's like, oh my God, you're not one of our blacks. You're a special black. You're a different black. There's a presumed intelligence with this accent. As soon as I start speaking, people just assumed I'm super educated, and I am, but it doesn't matter. You don't know. I could be an idiot. You know I did, because I sound like this. Yeah, I call myself a superhero, that I am now the undercover African-American sent out to find all racists.
Comedians, especially like your Seth Meyers, your Samantha Bees, Trevor Noah, like they can do satire to make fun of the president in a way that the news can't.
But you see, you still haven't told us the right way for black people to protest. I mean, we know it's wrong to do it in the streets. It's wrong to do it in the tweets. You cannot do it on the field. You cannot do it if you've kneeled. And don't do it if you're rich, you ungrateful son of a bitch. Because there's one thing that's a fact. You cannot protest if you're black.
So the TV show I write for is basically a Trump impersonator doing a late night show hosted from the Oval Office.
I'm just one sad old man in way over his head.
I think because our host is in a suit and looks like Trump, no one takes us seriously, or people are reluctant to engage with how seriously we write the politics of that show. One time, people were talking about neo-Nazis and how neo-Nazis are racist. And I had to push the idea that when you focus on neo-Nazis, you're taking it and exporting the racism as if Nazism is the beginnings of it. So if we stop focusing on neo-Nazis and focus more on white supremacy, then we can get to the root of American racism and talk about it more authentically. And I think, at the very least, my presence in the room is opening them up to other places where we can tap into real commentary, but also find humor in places they would never have thought to go.
If I really was a true showman, what I would do is fire everyone in my cabinet and, like a wrestling heel, flip and become a good guy. Join with the Democratic Party, actually advocate for Black Lives Matter and other organizations, and basically flip the script on everybody. And then everyone would finally love me, which is all I really want.
I've lost my rhythm in this Trump era. because I'm intimately engaging with what we think the psyche of Donald Trump is for our show. And I don't get to disengage the way I need to write my own stuff. And I'm so lost in the rhythm of the TV show that when I want to talk about Trump as myself, I don't remember how.
I'd say the biggest difference now in comedy in the age of Trump is that people are quick to get angry and don't know why they're angry. We live in an outrage culture where everyone has a right to be offended. There wasn't that recoil before. So I feel like as comedians with edgier topics, you're kind of juggling dynamite because you don't know which way the audience is gonna fall, but you have to be prepared for them to not agree with you and still go forward and spit your truth.
But if we get rid of the Confederate flag, how am I gonna know who the dangerous white people are? I'm just saying, the flag had a couple upsides, so let's just be real about it. I ain't saying keep it around, but I grew up in the South. I can't tell you how many times the Confederate flag came in handy. You stopping for gas at a strange place at 2 in the morning, you see that flag hanging from the window, you know this is not the place to get gas. And to keep it moving. What's the rush to get rid of the flag? Especially if you're white. If you're white, you should want to keep the flag for a little while longer so at least black folks will know you cool. Because if you're white and you're not an asshole, that's the one thing that helps us identify you. You get rid of that flag, we got to figure out a way to know who the cool white people. Cool white people, we just got to start giving y'all wristbands or hand stamps. Just something you can show in a dark alley. Let us know you down with the struggle. That'd be cool. Give me your money, white dude. Like, whoa,
I've always tried to put my comedy in a place of where I hope we could be as a people, using now and things that happen now as an example for where I hope we could be.
I'll be honest with y'all, I don't march. I don't go out there and march. I'm too tall to march. I'm 6'1". I'm head and shoulders above most people. That's just 2 rubber bullets to the dome. I don't want that.
That's what kind of like keeps me going, because I realize that through every traumatic experience from war, slavery, nuclear threat, there was always entertainment. And so that's the only thing that like gives me motivation to keep going. Cause I'm like, yeah, shit is fucked up, but I can give somebody like a little bit of hope while they throwing that Molotov cocktail.